Hello everybody, good afternoon. A bit like United, don't know what to do. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United draw 0-0 with Crystal Palace, and I've got to say that's the worst I've seen Manchester United play in a very long time. Probably looking back at Van Gaal and Mourinho days, it was that bad. To not be able to find a way through, to not be able to find 3 points. Look, the Chelsea game at the weekend, there was a lot of criticism, but it was all about that result won't be too disappointing if we go and beat Palace. That was worse than Chelsea. That was absolutely abysmal. From top to bottom. Hodgson out. And how many times are we saying this at the moment? Steve Bruce, a couple of weeks ago, they played better than us. Crystal Palace played better football than us. If Hodgson had the players we had and Ollie had the players Palace had, we'd have lost that game 3 or 4-0. If Steve Bruce a couple of weeks ago had the team we had and Ollie had the team Newcastle had, we'd have lost that game 4 or 5-0. That's a big problem. That is a big problem because Palace and Newcastle are getting better coaching and better direction than we are giving at the moment. It's not good. It's not good. It's not acceptable. I'm very worried. And I think that when we look at progress and we look at stepping forward, if we had a director of football or if we had people who understood football at our club, they would share the concerns that many of us have got tonight. What I would say is you're going to see Ollie out. You're going to see get rid of this manager. You're going to see Ollie the Wally. You're going to see abuse. You're going to see PE teacher. You're going to see all this. And what I would say is, and this is probably a little bit unusual for me, I would say just take a little bit of a step back for a moment and look at where we are in the league, where we are in the Europa League, where we are in the FA Cup. This is not Saka manager time. This is not Ollie out trending time. That to me belongs with Arsenal Football Club. We're a little bit better than that. That was shocking tonight. It was poor. I think the club need to look at what they're going to do in the summer. I know what they're going to do in the summer. They're going to stick with Ollie and they're going to give him better players. But they need to be looking at the coaching. The coaching needs to be a lot better. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself has said, I don't do the coaching. The coaches do that. I'm the man manager. Well, your coaches ain't good enough, Ollie. They're shit, to be honest. I'm not naming names. We don't need to. But the coaching at that club is not good enough. And so many people have said this for so long. Solskjaer may not be may have a future as a Man United manager if he brought in experienced coaches. And that's one thing I would say. The coaching is bloody clueless. For me, the substitutes took too long. First half was boring. The first half an hour of the second half was worse. How do you go in at half time after a boring first half and come out worse? Palace had more of the ball in the second half than they did in the first half. So something's wrong there. The fact that people like Marcus Rashford play 90 minutes, that performance from Rashford, I'm a fan of Rashford, right? I'm a fan of Rashford, but I'm not going to do what so many people will do and just stay with that player because you like them. Martial's one of my favourite players. He's been dreadful this season. Martial against Sheffield United was one of the worst performances I've seen from a Manchester United player this season. Rashford's just rivalled it tonight. That was subbed off at half-time performance and he plays 90 minutes. Like, what would have been the problem for giving Amad Diallo 10 minutes in a game like that? We've drawn it anyway. He's not going to lose as the game. Like, why are you not taking players off? Solskjaer will be wondering tonight what went wrong. I'll tell you what went wrong, Ollie. The team does not respect you. They all like you, but they don't respect you. They don't fear you. They don't play with fear. They don't play with... I mean, look, I don't want to go in on Rashford too much, but his control, his passing, his dribbling, it was all crap. If I'd never seen him play before, I'd have said, he ain't good enough. Get rid of him. I mean, I know he's good enough, but some people have a shit game sometimes. Do not pick them. It's as simple as that. Take them off. And... The team is just... The same team again and again lets you down. But I think the most important thing I would say to everybody tonight is you've got to be a little bit... And player ratings, links in the video description, mark every player out of 10, 6 being average, and put a star next to your man of the match. I think for me, the obvious man of the match is Dean Henderson. Just like David De Gea at the weekend. That save at the end, and he didn't do anything. Henderson did nothing. He caught the ball a couple of times. He had one thing to do and he did it. And thank God he did, because we would have lost the game. That was the best chance of the game. So like De Gea at the weekend, our goalkeeper is man of the match for me again. So what does that say to you about Manchester United when the goalkeeper's man of the match? It says we're going back to Van Gaal days. It says we're going back to Mourinho days where David De Gea was player of the year. That's progression, is it? That is progression. But I'll tell you what, the big thing that I would stick up for Ollie with about today, and I think you can't be a hypocrite about this. That team was dead in midfield. Absolutely dead. Like Matic and Fred, Matic and McTominay, Fred and McTominay, whatever combination you want to have, it's dead. It's dead, dead, dead. Rest in peace. Here lies Manchester United's midfield, because they've got nothing. Nothing. They wouldn't play for Newcastle, Matic and Fred. McTominay and Fred wouldn't play for Newcastle. They've got no creativity. And I tell you what, I'll predict this now. 6 months' time, the mainstream media and our ex-players will figure this one out. The midfield is dead. There's no creativity there. They are so slow. They ain't even snails. They are dead. Fred can't pass the ball. He's shit at it. Matic is finished. McTominay isn't particularly good at passing the ball. When you've got no midfield, your team will not dominate games. The midfield two today were bloody useless. Whoever it was, they were bloody useless. So, whatever you think about Solskjaer, what is he supposed to do with a midfield like that? This goes back to the board again. There has to be a proportion of blame put on the recruitment of this football club. I cannot understand for the life of me why a centre defensive midfielder is not a priority for Manchester United. Donny van der Beek. Don't talk to me about Donny van der Beek. Oh, if Donny van der Beek had been fit. He hasn't picked Donny van der Beek all season. So what makes you think he would have used him tonight? We can't use Donny van der Beek as an excuse. Oh, it's a shame Van der Beek was injured. He wouldn't have fucking used him anyway. He's not used him all season. We ain't using Donny van der Beek. And don't talk to me about Paul Pogba, because Paul Pogba wants to leave and he's going to go in the summer. So our midfield next year, as it stands, is that tonight. Fred, Matic, McTominay. Well, I'll tell you what, there's plenty more of those performances coming, and the board needs to take a long, hard look at itself, because, to be honest with you, people say, right, I see people saying this, oh, better coaching, better tactics. You don't get better passing, and you don't get better passing lines, and you don't get quicker movement of the ball with Matic and Fred. I tell you what, I'll pay for Matic and Fred all the money in the world to go and spend intensive training with Pep Guardiola for the next year. And when we get them back, they'll still be shit, because some players just do not have it. So one thing I would say today is that the game was boring, absolutely boring, because the tactics we used, which I'll go to in a minute, were bloody basic. But to be fair to Solskjaer, that midfield is dead. And teams know how to play against it. They can run past it with pace and they can stop it with a shield. It's a dead midfield. And it doesn't matter who your coach is, Matic and Fred are never, ever going to turn into Thiago, Fabinho, Rodri, Gundogan. They're not going to do that. Kovacic, Jorginho, they're not going to do it because they're not that type of player. You cannot polish a turd in relation to creativity. Now, Matic and Fred, they do have their positive traits. They do, but they're never going to be players that are going to run a game from midfield and move. They're not Michael Carrick. They're not Paul Scholes. They're not those players. So tonight, you look at those two and then you look at the bench. Well, it's Scooby-Doo. Well, he's not going to do it either. The midfield was the problem today. There was no creativity in that midfield. I even said with 20 minutes to go, I wouldn't mind Twansebi coming on because I think he passes the ball better than Fred and Matic. So, yes, tactically we'll talk about that. But let's have a moment of clarity and say, before we're talking about Ollie out and all this and all that, it doesn't matter who your coach is. It doesn't matter who your manager is. You are not going to turn Matic and Fred into creative midfielders. And that was a massive problem today. You could have took Fred off and put Bruno there. And maybe you could have tried... Well, pulled Greenwood into 10 and put James on the right. You could have done that, and maybe we should have done that. But the creativity from the midfield was diabolical, and we were going to struggle. We were always going to struggle with those two. And I tell you what, I'm out of patience with Fred. He's a bench player. He's a Manchester United bench player because he's all heart and he's all tenacity and he's underrated. But I tell you what's not underrated. His passing isn't underrated. It's shit. His shooting shit. His creativity shit. And he gives up loads of free kicks as well. So, let's wake up to Fred. Not literally, but literally, in relation to his footballing ability, Matic, Fred, McTominay, they don't cut the mustard at this level. Not at top four. They don't. They absolutely don't. So, that to me was a huge problem. People need to have a long, hard look at themselves, says Jake, and the club if they think the squad is close to a title. How can you stick up for Ollie saying with that midfield, he had the option to pick Donny for the past 6 months and Rashford needs dropping, he's awful. Yeah, well, I agree with you, Sean, but we're talking about a game right now. I mean, if you want to talk about the last 6 months, to be fair, we're second in the league, Sean. This is what I mean. We're going to get massive reaction one way or another tonight. I accept that. And I'm very angry as well. But I'm talking about a match tonight. I can't use Donny van der Beek tonight because he wasn't there. I agree with you, he's not been used for the last 6 months. But to be fair, in the last 6 months, we've got to second in the league. We were top of the league in January. So, you know, we can't overreact and start... Well, you can do what you bloody well like. But I'm not going to sit here and say, get rid of Ollie, he's useless, this, that and the other. I saw what the tactics were tonight. And the tactics we played is because there was fuck all in the midfield. We got Partey without any challenge from another team, Mark. Manchester United should have been on that other team, says Big Josh. You moan at the midfield options, Mark, but if Van der Beek was on the bench, he wouldn't have come on today. Well, Finlay, I just said that, but he's not there today. You can't use Van der Beek as an excuse today. He's not there. He's literally not there, so you can't use him anyway. I agree, probably wouldn't have used him. Need to look at themselves. We're a team, not a club right now. It starts with our board. Need to initiate change in the backroom and transfers. Thoughts, says Josh. Mark, how will the pundits agree this when even Ricky and others say two of Matic, Fred and McTom should always play? Looking forward to Ricky's fan cam. They were shite tonight. I don't care what Ricky says. It's down to him what he says. But they were shit and they were the problem we didn't win. You can't really blame the players for not being creative because there was heavy fog on the pitch, as always United. Ollie cannot be blamed. Pep won't be able to do any better. We need more creativity. I agree with that, Aditya. Injuries really got United in a corner, but Ollie has to take a bit of the blame for not giving Bruno, Maguire and Rashford a break. Martial haters can now see he suffers because he does not get the ball. Oh, Vicky, you know what as well? How Cavani tonight, his player rating when we do it is going to be low. It's going to be lower than a snail's arse. But the reality is, what is he supposed to do? And I hope a lot of people wake up here because we all like Cavani. And I know Martial's easy to hate on. But all the times Martial's been... If Martial had played tonight, he'd be getting pouters, right? Cavani won't get any pouters. He doesn't deserve any pouters. He's had no service. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. What did Cavani get in that game? I can just run around a lot. Nothing. No creativity at all. Absolutely nothing. It's piss poor. But I'll tell you what. I've got to come back to what I started on. The midfield was why we lost the game, and the midfield is a joke. If I see one player on social media say not the result we want, I'm going to go spastic, says Liam Nermitz. Well, they will be on there. And we still have too many big games left. If you can, I'm not going to say we're going to get top four. Is anyone going to say we're going to get top four? I'm not going to say we're going to get top four. Never in a million years. We still can do it, but we're in massive trouble. I tweeted before I went live. Ollie's in trouble. You know why he's in trouble? Not because of me. He's in trouble because tonight he's going to get absolutely slaughtered by the fan base. You know there's people waiting to go in on him. I'm not even saying they're wrong. I think abuse is too much, but I think criticism of that performance is spot on. Now, tactically, that was a shambles tonight. The midfield weren't good enough, but we needed to try and play a different way. We needed to make changes. What we did in that game from minute one was play a deep line. We let Matic become a defender. We told Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka to push forward. We had Fred in the middle not knowing what to do. And basically we did 4 or 5 passes amongst ourselves and then we hit a 50-yard pass diagonal. And if it worked, we then put a cross into the box. Well, hold on a minute. I've never known Crystal Palace be a team that's weak on crosses. And also, every 50-yard ball we hit, it either went out or it went to Shaw or it went to Wan-Bissaka. But 50% success rate. Why were we not trying to pass through? Why were we not moving the ball quick enough? I said it at half-time. What should have been said at half-time is get the ball and move it quick. Move the ball quick. Get it into the feet of Rashford, Bruno, Cavani, Greenwood, quick. Move the ball quickly along the ground. Start moving the ball quicker. And we didn't. We kept this slow thing. And I think what he was doing tonight, and many people have said this before, so I'm not going to take credit for it. I think what he was trying to do tonight was, we were never going to concede a goal. And look, we nearly did. Great save by Dean Henderson in the last minute. But we never looked like Palace were going to score. I think he knew that. And I think he was like, I'm not going to change it. I'm going to stick at it. Because at some point, we'll score from somewhere. It'll be a penalty. It'll be a moment of brilliance from Bruno or Rashford or Greenwood. And Greenwood a couple of times nearly did it. We never deserved to win that game. I'll say it fully and clearly. We did not deserve to win that game and Palace did not deserve to lose that game. A draw was the right result. But what Solskjaer did in that game, and we've seen him... Look, Wolves. Who remembers Wolves just after Christmas? That was a draw. It should have been a draw. It was a shit draw. It was as bad as tonight. But Rashford did it at the end and we were all like, oh, we're near the top. Happy days, happy days. Southampton, 3-2, last minute from Cavani. Happy days, happy days. When you look back at our results this season, we've had a lot of games where we've won it by 1 goal. Whether it's a deflection at the end or we've blocked it at the end, we've taken a lot of points this season by 1 goal. I ain't going to moan about drawing that tonight because we didn't get a winner. We didn't deserve it. It's horses for courses. Over a season, these things even out. We didn't deserve to win that game. But I think what Ollie was trying to do was win it like he did against Southampton, like he did against Wolves, like he did against Villa, like he did against West Ham. Just try and nick a game from a bad performance. And it didn't work tonight. Newcastle the other week, I know it ended up 3-1 or 3-0 or something, but we didn't deserve to win that really over the course of the game. So we're getting what we deserve at the moment. That's the problem. We're getting what we deserve. We don't deserve to win tonight. And the tactics were way too easy for Crystal Palace. They were tactics. People who say he ain't got no tactics, this, that and the other. He has got tactics. I know exactly what they were. Long ball. We were hitting long ball after long ball after long ball, which I found really weird against the low block. But we were trying to hit long balls. And because we couldn't get in behind them, we tried diagonal long balls, which is just so basic. Crystal Palace don't play a high line. Why are we hitting long balls? Just shocking in relation to not being able to change it up. We need to bring in an experienced CDM, or we're desperate for a centre defensive midfielder. Bruno looks knackered, says Hazard. Well, look, in defence of Rashford and in defence of Bruno, they probably are absolutely knackered. Bruno looks knackered, says Hazard Tran. This is how we have been for 8 years. Patches FC, says Santino. I don't want to change the manager either, Mark, but it's time in the summer, says United Shamrocks. But we aren't second from playing good football. We may be fortunate other teams haven't been consistent. Welcome to the Members Club, the Zord. The board doesn't care. We simply fund Tampa Bay, says Piseth. Saints talking about stuff. Can I just say, on a positive, because there's not many positives tonight, please smash a like on the video, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, bottom to do that. Subscribe to the channel. We're on 98,500. We're only 1,500 away from 1 million. So please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I've personally backed Ollie all this time and he was the right man until a certain point. But hand on heart, he's not going to be good enough to win titles, says George. Can I just say to everybody, right? I've always said wait till May, and I'm not going to, personally, it's only me. I'm not telling you to do it. I would never tell you what to do. It's down to you, and I trust you all to make your own decision, and I respect that. For me, I've always said I'm going to wait till May, and tonight and Sunday, and next Sunday, Man City, won't change that. But I have always said, honestly, do I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United? No. He could become it, but I don't think he is the man to win titles with Manchester United. So just remember, I've always said that, but I have said give him till May. And what I would further say to that is, what good do you think it does to vocally start screaming and shouting about Ollie out? What good do you think it does on March the 3rd? He's not going anywhere until the summer anyway. What do you want to happen? Do you want the season to fall apart? Do you want us to get knocked out of the Europa League, not finish in the top 4, be back in the Europa League, probably still with Ollie because I don't think they're going to sack him anyway? What is it? What fire is it you want to start tonight? Because that's the interesting thing for me. What is the fire you're trying to start on March the 3rd? Because for me, the most logical thing now is that we try as a football club, and I mean team and coaching, to find some sort of form to start picking points up and hold on to top 4 and try and establish something in the cups. And then in the summer, we actually properly invest. Now, I'm dreaming. I'm absolutely dreaming. I know I am. But your alternative, let the world burn, what does that do? What does it do for us right now if the whole fan base starts going, Ollie out is shit, and we're second in the league, still in the Europa League, still in the FA Cup? What does it actually do? I think for me, there's definitely a statement of reservation, frustration, disappointment, and vocality around that. But I think taking it to the Ollie the Wally abuse, I'm never up for that. And I also think the whole Ollie out thing, how are you achieving that? Second place is still there. Top 4 is still there. Europa League is still there. I think in May, you're going to have to look at where we are. And then if you want to say, fucking get rid of him, we're not in the top 4 or, whatever, I get that. But I love the passion. I love and agree with the whole, we're Manchester United. That's not acceptable. Bullshit. 3 years ago, second place under Mourinho. We were miles behind Man City and we were second place. Whoop-de-shit. That's not good enough. But ultimately, it always comes back to the same thing. 3 years ago, we were in this same position. And 3 years we're in the same position again. Second in the league, not playing Manchester United football, but a board saying it's okay. And I can't keep saying this enough. The blame for everything relies with the board. They're the ones who don't make... we've got no centre defensive midfielder. Our centre-backs ain't good enough. We've got no creative wingers. We don't play with creative wingers. Rashford and Greenwood are not creative. How can you sit here and say, I expected us to beat Crystal Palace, as I did, but when you look at the team that he picks, there's no creativity off the wings. There's no creativity in the midfield too. The ball's moving slowly. I mean, the honest answer is, what are you expecting to win that game other than individualistic talent from a Rashford or a Bruno? There's no creativity from the wing. There's no creativity from the midfield. How are we supposed to score goals? Rashford was poor, lost everything he touched. Rashford was terrible, Jose. Absolutely terrible. Paul Pogba signing contract has got to be up there, top priorities. Well, will he do it, Joe? Would you do it if you were Pogba? How have we got to a position where we have let go of Lingard and relying on Daniel James, says Will Lloyd. Hey, come on. We all thought it was time for Lingard to go. We can't go backtracking. Team looks tired. We are missing Pogba, says Gavin Wood. Another game, another positive. Ollie's contract hasn't been extended, says Dipak. Welcome to the Members Club, the Valkyrie. Marco, I've seen a team tonight that is bottom 4 team. It looked good on the team selection, but a lot of basic mistakes. Where do we go next, says Tom. And when people say he's got no tactics, I assume they're referring to his basic predictable game plans and lack of in-game management, says James Weston. Well, I think the substitutes were way too late, James. And I think that we never change it up. I mean, he looks quite expressive. I've got to see what he's saying. Player ratings, link in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being average. I mean, he's saying we didn't have the quality and tempo that we needed. We kept giving the ball away. This is from Ollie. We had players in position, simple passes, quality ones. We built some pressure and had half decent chances. I mean, look, to be honest, he knows himself that to be honest with you, we're going to give players less than, we're going to give a lot, to be fair to Ollie here as well, you've got to share the blame. It's not all about tactics. This is what I mean. It's not all about tactics. It's about movement of the ball. It's about simple passes. And that's really important. So look, let's do the player ratings. Links in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being average, and put a star next to your man of the match, which I think we know who the man of the match is going to be. Probably wasn't going to be my man of the match before the game, but I think it was such a game bereft of things going on that it has to be man of the match for me. I'll give him a 7. Simply for that save. I don't think he had a great game. Not through his own fault. Look, we've seen De Gea, we've seen Dean Henderson have these games before where he has nothing to do. But that save at the end probably kept us in the game. Probably saved us a point. Wan-Bissaka for me today, 6, 5.8. Yeah, I think defensively he was very good. Going forward, I worry about Wan-Bissaka. I mean, look, let's have an honest. What I want to do on these player ratings here, I want to have an open and honest chat on these players and say whether they're good enough going forward. Is Wan-Bissaka good enough for Manchester United's future? If he can't improve his crossing and going forward, it just doesn't look natural to me. He doesn't look natural, Wan-Bissaka, going forward. It looks like it's a chore for him. Now, he used to be a winger, but it looks... It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right to me going forward. Defensively, he's always very good, but there you go. Eric Bailly, 5 to me today. 6 for you. You know why I've marked Eric Bailly down? Because we didn't even play a high line. What a waste of time. We played Eric Bailly and we didn't even play a fucking high line. And I thought he looked very shaky in the first few minutes. He got better after that, but I'm marking Bailly down because I think I would have given Lindelof a 5. We may as well have played Lindelof. We didn't use Eric Bailly in the right way. We didn't use him at all. If I'm giving Aaron Wan-Bissaka a 6, I'm giving Eric Bailly a 5 because we just didn't use him in the right way. So Eric gets a 5 for me, but by no means the lowest. And again, Harry Maguire, probably a 5 as well. Leadership is non-existent as per usual. I don't know who the captain of Manchester United is anymore. I really do think you have to be marked as a captain. I don't see any leadership from him. That's a game you need to win. I think about Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Nemanja Vidic, John Terry, Steven Gerrard, Jordan Henderson, Declan Rice. I think of proper captains in a game where you need to win. And I never notice any leadership from Harry Maguire. I've never noticed any bollockings or forcing the team forward or demanding better. If the manager at the end of the game is saying the passing was bad all night, the tempo was bad all night, what's the fucking captain for then? He's on the pitch. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can only do so much from the touchline. The captain can demand an up it. And also the captain's playing in the position that controls the tempo. Because the ball starts with him. So, Maguire wasn't dreadful as a centre-back tonight, but as a captain, these are the games where you earn your corn as a captain. And again, it just didn't happen. Luke Shaw, for me, would be a contender for man of the match. I'd give him a 7. I thought in the first half he was really good. The second half, we didn't seem to use him. First half, Luke Shaw was in the game loads. Second half, we just didn't use Luke Shaw much in the second half. It was really weird. It was almost like, when the cameras and you're playing FIFA and you play on one side. First half, Luke Shaw was closest to the camera, had loads of the ball. Second half, because he was further, it was like we didn't want to use him. Oh, he's far away from the camera. It was weird. So, I thought Luke Shaw was one of the better players. Right, here we go. Now, I'm going to be honest. And also, can I just say, Wan-Bissaka, I'm curious about whether he can be a player for the future. Eric Bailly, no. Injury prone, as we know. Harry Maguire, jury's out on him. Luke Shaw definitely can be a player for the future if we want to be successful. Fred, definitely not. He's a bench player at best. I'd rather use that bowl of soup. Crap. 3. I'm fair play for giving him a 4. I thought he was absolutely shit. Matic was clearly the sitting midfielder. Fred was meant to be the box-to-box player. Well, he may as well have been in a box. And put some tape around it and send it back to, I don't think he's from Brazil. I really don't. I think his passing range is not Brazilian. His passing range is Stokish, as we know. I don't know what we paid 50 million quid for. There are midfielders like this in the Championship. He runs around a lot, he's tenacious, and I like the way he breaks up the play, but his passing is bloody ridiculous. It's so bad. And as for creativity, you get more creativity out of a dead worm. It's just there's no creativity. No wonder we struggled today when the midfielder, the box-to-box player, is that he's got no creativity. We're applauding it, claps. What Ollie did at the weekend against Chelsea when he shot. It's like being applauded by your bloody mother on the touchline who knows nothing about football. Oh, try again. People will say you're being harsh. It's Manchester United. We've just taken 2 points from 6. And we're playing Man City at the weekend. If we lose at the weekend, that's 2 points from 9. That's dreadful. And I dread to think what our points tally is from Sheffield United to now. Because we've dropped so many points. It's ridiculous. We're unbeaten away from home, but we're drawing again. I think we've drawn more games than anybody this season, pretty much. But anyway, Matic for me, 5. He's just not the player he was. I think he was better than Fred, which is why I gave Matic a 3. But he's just not the player he was. He's too slow. It's way too slow for this level now. I was hoping we might find the old Matic, and I'm sure Ricky wants to see the old Matic, but he's just not quick enough anymore. He can't control a game anymore. It's sad to see. Bruno's got to get a 5 as well. Look, Bruno Fernandes, you judge Bruno Fernandes on the high levels he's put. He's got to be careful. Player of the year is going to slip away from him. But I wonder with Bruno how much of it is frustration. I wonder how much of it is being tired. I wonder how much of it is trying to do too much. I think he's trying to do too much. Bloody hell. How deep was he coming in that game today? He should not be coming that deep at all. That is ridiculous. You're the number 10. I know why he was doing it, because to be fair to him, I know why he was coming deep. He was coming deep because if he stayed in the number 10 position, he may as well put a tent up and add a bloody campfire, because he's going to be like Cavani. Even Cavani was coming deep at one point, because you can say keep your position, but actually, what a hypocrite I am and what a hypocrite you are. If Bruno had stayed in the number 10 position, he wouldn't have got the ball. So he's coming deep to get the ball to try and make something happen. He's coming deep trying to hit the wonder pass because nothing's happening. So the team shape falls apart. because of and it all goes back to the same two players. Matic and Fred killed that game because their passing was so slow and inadequate that people were having to come deep out of position. It was a bloody shambles. But he had nothing. He had nothing on the bench to change it. We so missed Paul Pogba, and we also missed the fact that he's never used Van der Beek properly, but we couldn't have used Van der Beek tonight anyway. Greenwood for me is a 5 as well. Yeah, I agree with that. Similar score to Bruno. Thanks for all the player ratings, by the way. Yeah, I mean, look, Mason Greenwood nearly produced 2 moments of brilliance out of nothing. And I'll give him credit for that. But again, I hold Mason in high esteem. I hold him in high esteem, and I think by Mason Greenwood's standards today, it wasn't an average performance. It was below average, and I think that I wouldn't be critical of Bruno or Mason. I think they put the effort in, and I tell you what, I'm tired of as well. I'm absolutely tired of this, and I wouldn't give Bruno a higher score for this. But are you tired of this? Because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of seeing Bruno Fernandes sprinting around, pressing from the front, and nobody else does it. He is the only one who knows how to press in that team. He presses really well, but when you do it as one man, it's like one man running into battle against 100 on their own. You need everybody else to do it. And Rashford and everybody else, they don't press like Bruno does. So his press is ridiculous. And you see him so many times doing it, turning around, telling people to push forward, but they don't do it with the intensity he does it. So he may as well stop doing it. He must be bloody knackered at the end of a game. But I can't give a player a high score because of putting a shift in. I've refused to do that. Rashford for me, I've put him down with the Bruno. I'll put him down with Fred 3. Fred and Rashford to me were just awful today. And look, people need to be brave enough to own this. I know we all love Marcus Rashford, and he's a fantastic player, and he can be a world class player. He can be, and I think he's been overplayed. And I personally don't think he's looked fit for a long time. But that's no excuse tonight. You know, he really was bad. His passing, his control, his dribbling, awful. He just had a bad night. Terrible. And he needs to look at himself, and Ollie needs to look at himself and say, why did I not just give Amad Diallo 10 minutes? I'm not saying look, Diallo couldn't have played any worse. And where Rashford plays, it wouldn't have cost us the game. But imagine if Diallo had come on for 10 minutes, got the ball, whipped in a good cross, or skinned somebody and won a penalty. It's just Ollie is over-reliant on Rashford. I feel sorry for Rashford. He plays him every bloody game he can, every minute he can. And is it any wonder that Rashford might have an excuse about being overtired? A lot of it has to be down on Ollie today about Rashford, because he should have took him off. It didn't matter how long he played, he was not going to produce that moment. And that's what Ollie was praying for. He was hoping, please do another Wolves, produce a shot out of nothing. And it wasn't going to happen. He may as well have tried Diallo or Show Retire or somebody. Try, even Tellez. Put Tellez on the left wing. Why not try that if you don't want to go with a kid? He was poor. I mean, Cavani's got to be a 4. In no way do I put it down to Cavani being shit. I really don't put it down to that. But I felt that Greenwood and Bruno did a little bit more than Cavani. So if they're getting 5, I've got to give Cavani a 4. He was absolutely redundant. He really was. He was like a Mars bar at a bloody Weight Watchers convention. I mean, it was useless. Crystal Palace's defence just ate him up because there was nothing for him to do. I've seen this happen so many times, and I've said it's happened so many times, and people don't want to listen to me about it. But I'm telling you now, how many chances did Cavani have created for him today? And you could potentially count the. I mean, is it really a chance when Maguire heads it hits a Crystal Palace defender and you try and prod it in? Is that what we class as a chance? He's either had one chance or no chance today. We don't create chances for our number 9. Martial's had it. Lukaku had it. Rashford's had it when he's played there. Greenwood's had it when he's played there, and now Cavani's got it. It's probably the most. It's soul destroying. Greenwood and Rashford can't press, says Elio. And Brian Kelly, I love Ollie and don't want him to go, but I don't care about our position. I want to enjoy watching football again, and I want to change in May. Pumpkin Spice Latte, Mark, I like Fred. I know he can do better, but I feel like those who have guaranteed places with no competition are all playing badly. I think you're absolutely spot on there. I think I said that myself, didn't I? There's no fear of Ollie. You know you're going to get picked. You know you're going to stay on the pitch. Where are the Martial haters? We need to play with more courage, says King Kid. And the treatment of Fred is pathetic. Player of the year as soon as Pogba got out of injury, was straight in need of more attacking midfielder next to him. He's like Kante. Mate, I respect the fact that you like Fred, but I'm never not going to say a player's shit. I've said it about Martial. I've said it about Rashford tonight. I've said it about Bruno. I don't care who my favourite players are. If they play shit in a United shirt, you've got to call it out. Fred was shit tonight. So, you can find an excuse. I think there is an excuse potentially with Rashford being overplayed, but, you've got to call a spade a spade. Mark, I get why the criticism for Fred, but yeah, was up there for Player of the Year last year and was consistent for ages. Why can't he stay on the halfway line and tackle, says Niall G. Ollie, as a manager himself, is not creative or brave enough to change games. I'm sure we could have given Ahmed some minutes. Rashford needs to be dropped. He needs to be rested, probably. Mark, why do you hold top four to such high regard and see it as an achievement? We got that last year and are in no better position for fighting for trophies. You know what it is, Caden? I don't think I do hold top four in high esteem. I really don't. I think I just live in a real world. And I think you are never going to see a Manchester United manager sacked for finishing in the top four. Maybe that should be happening at our football club, but that's the board. It's the board that need to change. So what I'm doing is I'm living in a real world. I'm not sitting here with high blood pressure saying sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now, because I know it won't happen while we're in the top four. So for me, it's wasted energy. I'd rather talk about the issues, where we need to improve, what the problems are, and hope that those things happen, even though I'm an idiot for hoping it'll happen, because it won't. But no Manchester United manager will be sacked for finishing in the top four. So you can scream and shout Ollie out all you like, and maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you are. Maybe I'm wrong saying to wait till May. But the reality is, we will not sack a manager for finishing top four. Real Madrid would, Barcelona would, PSG would, Juventus would. Big clubs do sack people for finishing second and third. Chelsea do. Chelsea do it. Manchester United's board, we don't do that. We don't do that because all we want to do is, make money. And, actually, you're probably right. You raise a really good point. Why are Manchester United happy for managers to finish in the top four? Why is that now acceptable? Because big clubs don't allow that. And, maybe I'm living in the real world because that's what the board have told us is the real world. I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree it should be. I really don't. And I think you are absolutely right. I think a Manchester United manager should be sacked for finishing second or third if the football's not good enough and the progress isn't there. You're right. You are right, actually. But you know what? Our board won't do it. And I live in the real world of what our board prescribes to us. And Jose Mourinho played shit football, finished 1 million points behind City in second place, but it was celebrated as being brilliant. And actually, he probably should have got the sack because the writing was on the wall against... Was it Sevilla in the Champions League who knocked us out over 2 legs? He should have gone. Loads of you said, second place, bullshit. He needs to go. He's not good enough. And you were right, because he was gone by Christmas. So actually, maybe this board does... Well, it needs a director of football. Maybe it needs people who know football. Because actually, maybe we should start becoming a big club again, which we are in name, but not in reality. Maybe we should have the intelligence that many of you've got to look at the way we're playing and go, this ain't never going to work. Regardless of whether we scam top four or whatever, this is never going to take us where we need to be. Because teams like Chelsea, Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they do it. I mean, Real Madrid bloody got that Spanish coach, didn't they? He couldn't even manage Spain in the World Cup because they wanted him. And then they sacked him in 6 weeks. Ruthless. Big clubs can be ruthless, not our club. McTominay 5, nothing, didn't do anything, did he? Dan James probably should have scored that header, to be honest, but I'll give him a generous 5. Ollie 4. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I mean, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't good enough tonight. And I think Man City on Sunday, I got no idea. Early prediction: we won't lose to Man City on Sunday. We'll get a reaction because I tell you what, if we get a thrashing on Sunday, he's in the shit. He's really in the shit because Chelsea play Liverpool tomorrow, and they'll be absolutely ecstatic that we've dropped points today. And Leicester, we've opened the door to Chelsea and Liverpool now, and West Ham and Everton. We've opened the door to them now, and they've got another game at the weekend. Teams can make 6 points on us now. If Chelsea win tomorrow and at the weekend, they could make 6 points on us because they'll make 3 tomorrow and 3 at the weekend if we lose to City. So it's huge. Let's see who the man of the match was. No. It should be Dean Henderson, really. Yeah, 45% of the vote. Luke Shaw was second with 33% of the vote. But yeah, as with the weekend, goalkeeper man of the match again. And he deserves it. I mean, he did nothing in the game apart from that save at the end. But if he doesn't make that fantastic save, we've lost that game. So, yeah, Henderson deserves man of the match 100%. And you know what? You know what the sad thing is? You know what the really sad thing is? Instead of talking about the shit midfield and that Van der Beek needs to start against Man City, and instead of talking about the centre-backs and they need to play a high line against Man City, you know what the British press are going to do now? It's going to be all about Dean Henderson starting on Sunday. A total irrelevance to what the real issue is. And this is what I've been talking about for weeks, and I'm really glad it's happened. This total irrelevance obsession from the British media about the goalkeeping position. I don't give a shit who's in goal on Sunday. Put Henderson in goal. I prefer De Gea, but put Henderson in goal. But please start writing about what really matters. The next few days, Sky, BT, Manchester Evening News, the mainstream media, they're going to be talking about Henderson's got to be in goal on Sunday for the Man City game. And they'll get obsessed with it. Put him in goal, Ollie, and tell us you're doing it tomorrow. Because the real issues at Manchester United need to be addressed. That midfield is shit, and it will stay shit. Our defensive line is too deep. Our movement of the ball is too slow. Our passing is ridiculously crap. These are the issues at Manchester United, and they will remain the issues no matter how good the goalkeeper is. A goalkeeper can save you from losing a game, but it can't win you a game if we don't score. We've got to focus on the real issues, and the creativity and slow pace of our tempo is killed us tonight, and you cannot win a game based on that. We're nearly at 5,000 likes. Please smash a like on the video. And Claire Carson, thanks very much for the super chat. I think it's been a really good. I really want to just say a big thank you to everyone. The match reaction can be a little bit all over the place, but I think we've probably covered everything in a very mature way and a passionate way, which is what it's all about. I get the anger. I'm very angry and frustrated. But I also think you've got to look at other areas. And, he's got to start using Donny van der Beek. There's no more excuses. He's got to start using him. He would have been invaluable tonight, but he probably wouldn't have used him anyway. And Luke says when a top manager comes in, Donny will get used. Time to raid the fan forum. But can I just say on a positive note, to end a positive, we're on 998,700. Please subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. Because we could hit 999 tonight. 999. I tell you what, Ollie needs to ring 999. He needs some help because that was shit. Get onto the fan forum. Let's raid it with Ollie. Ollie, whatever you want. Link in get to the fan forum. Flex KG and the boys. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.